So ranking status and experience are essential ingredients for robust legislation and oversight in the parliament. Hence, the Senate President, Ahmad Lawan, and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, have called on the leadership of the All Progressive Congress, APC, to consider automatic tickets for those they call performing lawmakers. At a meeting in Abuja, they argued that going by the harmonious working relationship between the National Assembly and the executive, it is essential for such lawmakers to be given special treatment. The work of lawmaking, it's not something that is easy, especially when it comes to understanding the rules, when it comes to terms of understanding all the procedures in the House. It takes time. That's why you see United States Congress, the House, you see people spending 30 years, 34 years, 35 years. So the more experienced the person is, the better. Becomes better every day. But since 1999, the turnover in our National Assembly has been nothing to write home about in terms of how people just come and go. We hardly have people like even Gbajabiamila himself and Lawan that have been in the Senate since 2003.
Yes, it's a big problem, and you and I know where the problem lies. For some of these lawmakers, they may be very good at coming up with bills. They may be very good at pushing for the interest of their constituents to be taken care of. But in terms of having a good relationship with the governors of their states, that has always been a problem. Governors particularly want federal lawmakers to
be subservient.
To be subservient to them, to not show any atom of disrespect or
ambition
or disloyalty. Okay. Once you start showing that, the next thing, the governor does not want to know whether you are very useful in the House. He wants to give that seat to someone else. This is one of the biggest problems. And then, because governors usually also believe that once they leave that seat, the next place to go to in their political lives is the National Assembly. So many of those federal lawmakers, including especially senators, their positions are usually threatened by governors who are interested in going to the Senate after serving their terms as governor. So as long as we have this kind of political relationship between federal lawmakers and governors, this sort of problem will continue. Remember, even during the time of Oshiomhole as chairman, national chairman of the APC, he tried to cut a deal with federal lawmakers because he was bent on having that Senate President Bukola Saraki removed.
Yes.
So he cut a deal with them that they would back him in exchange for keeping their positions. There were also federal lawmakers that he spoke with and told them, do not defect to the PDP along with Saraki, your positions will be guaranteed. But he found it difficult to convince governors who had made up their minds that some of those lawmakers had to go. I'll give the example of Kaduna State. Sheikh Sani refused to defect to the PDP. He tried to not show extreme loyalty to Bukola Saraki because he knew that Oshiomhole was bent on removing Saraki as Senate President. But what did we see? In the end, the governor of his state was bent on replacing him because one of the reasons was because he did not agree with Governor Rufai's plan to borrow some money for infrastructure in the state. So they punished him. In fact, not just him. Other lawmakers who were opposed to the idea of taking that loan at that time were all punished. So as long as governors have that grip on the politics of their state, including who goes to National Assembly, who does not go, this idea of keeping them there for so long would not happen. But where you have a governor who is happy with you, you can be there for as long as he wants. So it's not enough to speak to the national chairman of the party. It is the governors that are the problem. If a governor is interested in your seat, the national chairman cannot stop him from taking that seat. It's as simple as that.
Because now, when you look at the ranking senators and ranking House of Rep members, and you know, when you see the kind of confidence they exude, if you look at how Femi Gbajabiamila, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, take charge of the House, and you will know that this person knows what he's doing. Even I've noted and spotted Speaker Gbajabiamila when he was the majority leader, as far back as the 9th Assembly, the 8th Assembly then. I know that, look, this guy, the way he quotes House procedures, the rules and everything, and with time, and being a lawyer, and with time, you see some of them will even cross over from the State House of Assembly to the National Assembly, and, you know, they get better with time.
Yeah. Well, to go straight to the issue at hand, I understand, I appreciate the need for horse trading in politics. You can't but negotiate, you know. And I also appreciate the fact that the longer you stay in the legislative chamber, the better for you. You know the ropes and you know how to deal with issues of state, you know. My worry is the justification by the Senate President, since we have worked, we have cooperated with the executive branch. And I'm asking myself, before I remember that when this 9th National Assembly was inaugurated, not too long after that, the Senate President was saying that we will cooperate with the executive branch, whichever way, on whatever comes. And that sounded like giving somebody a blank check to ride roughshod and do whatever he likes, you know. And you can see a bit of the issues on the transmission, the Electoral Act bill, that aspect of transmission of electoral results, and then of course Section 84(12) of the Constitution, which it appears now, of the Electoral Act, which appears nobody is actually paying attention to. Now, after signing, somebody is now asking to have it back, to have it changed and all that. You know, that worries me, that if the argument is let's have continuity, let there be longevity of tenure, so that we can deliver better results for Nigerians, I buy that. But if the argument stated openly by the Senate President is that, oh, we have been cooperating with the executive branch, something worries me. Now, another dimension I look at is this. It appears that we are going to be running our primaries on the basis of consensus and negotiations now, rather than people going for direct primaries. You can see how the members of the EXCO, the NEC of APC emerged. It appears that that is how, even if you like, legislative aspirants, as well as governorship and even presidential candidates will be picked. It appears that we are indirectly going towards a consensus, a negotiated, worked out primaries as it is. And I think we need to resolutely look at that. I personally, I love the idea of having direct primaries. Let delegates come and establish their preferences, you know, rather than somebody walking out and saying, oh, the chairman must be this, the presidential candidate must be this. You never know.
Okay, I have to.
After people are paid.
Look, I have to pause it there.